Hey guys, I just finished a really sweaty, challenging workout. I think you're gonna enjoy it or have a love-hate relationship with it. It's 2 sections, and the first section is 6 movements that you're doing for 5 rounds, but in kind of an unusual scheme. This whiteboard should show you better how it works. Okay, so your movements, the 6 movements that you're doing are reverse lunges, push-ups, push press, leg raise, front to lateral raise, and box jumps. But as you can see from this chart, you're doing 12 reps of every movement. So you start with 12 reverse lunges, 12 push-ups. Then you do a second set of 12 reverse lunges, 12 push-ups. Then you add the push press and do 12. And so on. And you're adding movements. And then when you complete 5 rounds, those movements fall off until the only thing left is box jumps. In the reverse lunge, I'm using 15 pounds. I could have probably gone for 20, but I wasn't sure how hard this was going to feel. You're trying to get your back knee to touch the ground. It does not matter whether you stay on the same side or you alternate first. As soon as you finish 12 reps, you're going to transition right into your push-ups. This was after I had already done a lot of upper body stuff. So what I did was I started with doing all 12 reps on my toes. And as I got more and more fatigued, I just started challenging myself to do as many as I could on my toes until I felt like I was starting to get a little bit of arch in my back. I'd like for you guys to do the same, especially those of you who mentioned push-ups as one of your personal goals to get better at. As soon as you finish your push-ups, you'll move on to the next movement. And you have push press. Remember that you want to dip and drive, so you're using mostly hip and leg drive, and then finishing with your arms. Notice how my ears are in front of my arms at the top. That will reduce the fatigue in your shoulders by making sure the dumbbells are directly over your spine at the top and your legs are locked. When you've completed the push press, you're going to lay down, bring your feet directly over your hips, and you're going to try to keep the small of your back on the ground as you drop your heels towards the ground. If you experience low back pain, just reduce how deep or how far down your feet are getting, or get a little flexion in your knees so that your legs are not as heavy. Next we have front to lateral raise. So I'm using 8-pound dumbbells. Because of the number of reps, this was just fine. I would use 10 pounds if I was doing lower reps, but 60 reps started to really burn my shoulders out. So you're going to go forward until you get to shoulder height and then come around the corners to the sides. If you don't have the right weight, you could use cans like black bean cans or tuna cans or something, and instead of allowing your arms to come down by your side the way I'm demonstrating, you could go forward and then out to the side and never let your arms come down. The fact that I'm letting my arms come down is providing me with rest. If you have cans, you probably don't want to take any rest. You just want to keep your arms up and go front and side repeatedly for 12 reps. And then the last thing in this scheme is the box jumps. I'm just sliding the box over into the camera view. We are trying to get everybody to the point where all women are going to be able to jump to this height. If you don't have a box that's quite this high, just work on making sure that you're focusing on trying to increase your height. So maybe you're adding something on top of your coffee table or whatever sturdy 3 rounds, table or chair that you're using. Rest between each round. It is really important that you take the rest because I find that this workout is really upper body dominant. Even though I'm really sweaty, it has a cardio component because of the burpees. but your arms are going to be toast, so you really want to take 2 to 3 minutes between each one of these rounds, and this is what the whiteboard looks like for this. So you'll be doing 20 deadlift high pulls with 2 dumbbells in your hand, 10 burpees, 20 goblet squats, 10 burpees, a 40 to 60 second handstand hold. Don't worry if you can't kick up and go to handstand. You can also face the wall and walk your feet up the wall and get to the most vertical position that you can and hold for 40 to 60 seconds. Then 10 burpees, 20 renegade rows, followed by 10 burpees. And that's one round. And you're gonna take a rest, 2 to 3 minutes before you do round 2, rest for 2 to 3 minutes, and then round 3. In the deadlift high pull, you wanna focus on primarily bending at the hips with a little bit of a soft knee bend. It's not a squat though, so your hips are higher than your knees. You're going to go down into the deadlift and explosively open the hip while bringing the elbows up to the side. So your elbows should look like you're creating the letter V at the top. This is a good movement for practicing a piece of a clean, because this is the way you initiate the clean, by driving the elbows up and shrugging the shoulders. You're doing 10 burpees in between each of those other movements. Just make sure on the burpee that you are focused on not allowing your back to arch excessively as you push away from the ground. So you want to leave your knees on the ground to protect your back, and then drive out of your arms. That'll save your back while you're doing these push-ups. Burpees. In the goblet squat, you just want to place one dumbbell directly under your chin. Your elbows are in front of your ribs, keeping your chest predominantly up and focusing on bending at the hip, the knee, and the ankle at exactly the same rate. Don't worry if you're not able to kick up to handstand, or if you can't do handstand at all. In fact, what you can do is, instead of kicking up, you can turn your body around so your belly is facing the wall or the column, and you can just walk your hands in to get to the point where you're as vertical as you can be. I can do a separate demonstration of that wall walk for people who are not familiar with the way that would look. In the renegade row, you want to try to maintain chest between the dumbbells as much as possible, and as much as possible try to keep the weight over the arms and not allow the hips to move excessively.